If you are someone who suffers from burnout or procrastination, this video is for you. In today's video, I will show you how you can avoid procrastination and cut out burnout using two tools, Notion and Google Calendar. You need to have a plan. Having a plan sets you up for success. I'll actually be taking my exam on the 27th, which is a Friday. I chose a Friday because it's either I'm going to cry on the weekend or I'm going to be celebrating on the weekend. But any exam that you have, the date that you will be sitting that exam, cut it in half and give yourself that time to cover the content. You want to dedicate half the time to your exam to creating your flashcards, whatever kind of study methods you might do. The rest of the time is literally just going to be spaced repetition and other active recall methods. You just want to have half of the time to just be doing practice. So first things first, what I did is noted down important deadlines. So on the 25th of April, you can see I have my flashcard deadline. I want to have covered all the course content by the 25th of April. Then on the 12th and 13th of May, I actually have my intensive course that will further help me prepare for my exam. And then on the 27th of May is when I actually intend on taking the exam. And that's a very important deadline to highlight. So that's why they're in bold yellow colors. The psychologist and author David Cohen studied the psychology behind to-do list. It breaks it down into smaller chunks to make everything you have to do more digestible and much more achievable. He had also found that our brain loves being organized. It dampens the anxiety about the chaos of life already, so you'll feel so much more relaxed, so much more control and autonomy over your day. Also gives a structure and a plan that we can stick to, so it is a lot more easier to complete everything that you have to do just by setting out these little tasks every day that you have to complete. Also, it's a gratification thing. By completing your daily tasks and your goals, you actually have proof of what you've achieved in the day. So if you've ticked off your most pressing task, you're like, yes, I've done that. If you've ticked off a lot of little to-dos that you've been putting off, you're just like, yes, I've finally gotten that done. So let's jump into my calendar so I can show you guys how I've structured studying around my life. So here, guys, you can see my calendar and everything I have going on. So the mistake that I actually made with this week just gone is that I just put down revision. I wasn't very intentional. I just said from 7:45 to 1:45 I'd revise, and I did, but I wasn't as specific as I perhaps should have been. So that literally made the rest of my week flop. I had active recall, but what was I active recalling? What method of active recall was I supposed to be using at that time? I wasn't being specific enough. I wasn't going into enough granular detail as to the tasks that I needed to accomplish, which saw me procrastinate and saw me just not do what I needed to do. So here we're taking a look at my current week coming up that I have planned, and I'm a lot more specific with everything that I have to do. I have my chapter 1 flashcard active recall, so I know what chapter I will be active recalling and what method I'll be using. I will be creating chapter 3 flashcards and toggles. Chapter 3 flashcards and toggles, I'm a lot more intentional. I've noted down what topics need to be covered, which will actually see me intentionally work towards completing each and every goal every day. I have loads of different calendars that I've built in that are associated with a lot of different colours. I love an aesthetic. It really makes me excited to look at my schedule and want to complete my daily tasks, submissions. I have mental health as well, which is my morning workout, associated with a relatively bright green colour. I have dinner, so that comes under my enjoy life segment. I have one time a week where I just let loose, and I'm really looking forward to this actually. Other things like work is a big part of my life, and so on and so forth. Making sure I'm being very intentional with my time. If we look at the weeks going on, I haven't actually allocated the chapters that I will be reviewing for active recall methods or the chapters I'll be creating toggles and flashcards for. And that's because I don't know what will come next week, and I don't want to make everything so detailed that I feel this sudden pressure. I'm trying to, just be a bit more fluid, but disciplined at the same time. If you're someone that seriously struggles with procrastination, which I once was, if I felt like I had 10 things to do today, I would put it off and probably just complete the one. And that is actually the key point here. You want to have one priority task that you have to complete that day. If we jump back into my calendar, you can actually see that the one task that I have to do is my Q2 goals mapping. I have highlighted it in this really bright yellow colour. Your urge to procrastinate will actually go down, and you'll be able to feel comfortable with taking on more tasks during that day. Soon enough, you'll have a jam-packed day where you can study for like 6 hours straight, cover multiple topics, and you will be flying, soaring, amazing. Love this for you. I set daily reminders for my Google Calendar to send me an email in the morning of what I have to do in the day. By getting an email first thing in the morning will actually set your brain up for, okay, I have to do XYZ at XYZ time. I sync my phone calendar with my Google Calendar, so yes, I will check my emails during the day. If I know I've forgotten something that I actually have to do, I can just quickly go on my phone calendar and see, oh, okay, at this time I should be doing this activity. Burnout is not something you should be experiencing if you are studying efficiently and effectively. For me to avoid burnout, I need to do one thing a week that makes me feel happy. If that's going to dinner with a friend, going to a gallery, museum, going to a party, whatever it may be, once a week I know I'm going to have some time where I just let my hair down and have a jolly good time, and that brings balance. I've spoken about this in my last video, 10 tips to balance studying with working. Check it out if you haven't already. Next thing I do to avoid burnout is actually taking the time out to schedule my life. I like to schedule my life on a Friday because it allows me to have an overview of what I've already completed in the week, what I need to get done by the weekend and the week thereafter. So having that time on the Friday where I say, okay, Monday to Friday I actually completed this, but I slipped up on maybe a few areas of studying, complete that on the weekend, so I know the next week I'm on to the next thing and I'm actually progressing rapidly rather than trying to play catch up all the time. So Notion is that girl. I quite literally don't know anyone that doesn't use Notion already. For being organized, life planning, goals planning, study planning, whatever kind of planning you may want to do, a lot of people use Notion. So what I done was create a table database with a card view so I can see everything that's going on, everything that I've completed, everything that I need to complete. Mapping out everything with visuals actually encourages me to want to go and check in and study rather than just having a basic boring list. Everything I also have done is digital. It's easier to take around with you wherever you may be in the world. I mean, it's always going to be there, right? That's why I've actually decided to use Google Calendar and Notion as opposed to pen and paper. Let's jump into Notion so I can show you the system that I've built up so far. Here's my exam study board with all of my topics broken down. So I actually decided to break it down by chapters. In the book there are 6 chapters. Some chapters are far longer than others, but I thought this will create a nice visual aesthetic. So one of the cards here is Introduction to Financial Markets. So I have properties associated with each card. So I have the chapter number, the last day I revised the chapter, and this will help me to better know if I need to refresh on a topic. And I really like this feature because I'll know, dependent on my confidence level which comes up next, if I actually need to go back and brush up on a topic. So here you can see my confidence level. So there's 3 different levels that I've set up. Got this, which means I'm super confident, I'm really excited about this topic, I don't really need to study as much. I'm shaky, which means I could do better, or meh, I don't know crap and I need to study this. Next, I have my different forms of active recall. So I have flashcards, which I have completed for this, and toggles, which I have completed for this also. So down here, you can see what toggles are. Toggles for me, when it comes to revision, are just shallow points that I actually go into more depth with when it comes to my flashcards. So each bullet point in the toggle will essentially represent something that goes into more detail when it comes to my flashcards. My flashcards are actually complete in an application called RemNote. If you guys want me to do a video on my different study techniques, let me know. I'd be more than happy to share that with you. All the other different forms of active recall I would actually start doing after the 25th of April. And here I'm going to show you a really cool feature that I love about Notion. Notion, you can actually filter a lot of the properties for different views on the board. So what you'll see is that you can actually break it down and make it much more simpler. So here I want to filter by confidence level. So I want to see everything that I've got this, I feel confident in, everything I feel really crap in, so I feel meh, and everything that I feel shaky in. I haven't applied a confidence level to everything, so I have a really long list of no confidence level. And just playing around, seeing what works for you will actually help you be able to better study and better visualize what needs to be done. So I've put a link to this template in the description box. Of course, it'll be empty, so you guys can tailor it to your needs and use it for your exam study board. So those are the 2 tools that I use, Google and Notion, to help plan my study schedule around my life, to be able to avoid burnout, cut out procrastination and to ensure that I am able to set myself up for success when it comes to studying for my exam. Please let me know in the comments below if you want me to go into further detail about how I built my Google Calendar schedule. Remember to smash that subscribe button and give your girl a massive thumbs up. A thumbs up actually helps me to engage and attract a wider audience, guys, so that would be much appreciated. I'd love to grow the community that we already have here, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.